Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Tama and the Very Human Moments. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Tama never woke up like dogs in movies. There was no dramatic stretch, no heroic jump off the bed, no eager sprint toward the door. Instead, Tama woke up slowly, like someone who had lived a long, thoughtful life. Even though he was just a dog with slightly floppy ears and eyes that always looked like they were remembering something important. Every morning, Tama opened one eye first. Not both, just one. He would scan the room carefully, checking if the day had already started without him. If I was still lying there, half awake and scrolling on my phone, Tama would sigh, softly, but very clearly. It wasn't a complaint. It was more like a gentle reminder, we are here. Another ordinary day has arrived. Sometimes, Tama didn't even get up. He stayed curled next to my leg, his warm body pressed lightly against me, breathing in a slow, steady rhythm. His breath was comforting in a way coffee never could be. In those moments, mornings didn't feel rushed or demanding. They felt human. When I finally stood up, Tama followed me. Not closely, not eagerly, but faithfully. If I stopped to stare out the window, Tama stopped too. If I moved too fast, he lagged behind, as if teaching me something important. Life doesn't need to be hurried to be meaningful. Outside, the world was loud and impatient. Motorbikes rushed past. People shouted into their phones. But Tama walked at his own pace, sniffing the same tree every day like it was brand new. That tree mattered to him. That moment mattered. And watching Tama care so deeply about such small things slowly changed the way I lived my mornings. I stopped rushing through them. I started noticing the sky, the air, the quiet spaces between sounds. Tama didn't teach me how to be productive. He taught me how to be present. Most days with Tama were incredibly normal. That was their magic. In the afternoons, when the sun slipped lazily through the window, Tama would find the warmest spot on the floor and collapse there like a tiny sack of happiness. His paws twitched while he slept, chasing dreams I would never fully understand. Sometimes he made small noises, half barks, half sighs, like he was telling a story to himself. When I worked at my desk, Tama stayed nearby, not because he needed anything, not because he was bored, just because being close mattered. If I moved my chair, he adjusted his position. If I stood up, his ears lifted instantly. He didn't follow me everywhere, but he always noticed. There were days when I felt tired for reasons I couldn't explain. The kind of tired that sits heavy on your chest, even when nothing is technically wrong. On those days, Tama seemed to know. He brought his toy and placed it next to my foot, then sat down and waited. No pressure, no expectations. Sometimes we played, sometimes we didn't. Either way, Tama stayed. In the evenings, we shared quiet rituals. I ate dinner. Tama waited patiently, not begging, just watching, like a respectful guest. Later, we sat together while the world outside grew darker. I talked to him sometimes. About work, about worries, about thoughts I didn't know how to organize. Tama listened the way only animals can. Without judgment, without interruption, without trying to fix me. Those moments felt deeply human, even though one of us wasn't human at all. Tama reminded me that companionship isn't about constant interaction. It's about shared presence. Tama never asked who I was on my best days. He loved me when I was late, when I was grumpy, when I forgot things, when I failed, when I succeeded, when I felt lost. There were moments when I raised my voice, not at Tama, but at the world. Tama didn't understand my words, but he understood the energy. He approached slowly, carefully, and rested his head against my knee. That simple act softened something inside me every time. Tama also had his own flaws. He was stubborn. He refused to move when he decided a walk was over. He barked at absolutely nothing sometimes, fully convinced that he was protecting us from invisible dangers. And yet, those imperfections made him more real, more alive. Living with Tama taught me something important. Relationships don't become meaningful because they're perfect. They become meaningful because we show up, again and again, through the small, ordinary moments. Tama trusted me completely, and that trust came with responsibility. I learned to be gentler, more patient, more aware of how my actions affected someone smaller, quieter, and entirely dependent on me. Through Tama, I learned that animals don't exist to entertain us. They exist to share life with us. Tama and his very human moments remind us of something deeply important in today's fast-paced world. Life doesn't have to be extraordinary to be meaningful. In a time when people chase success, recognition, and constant stimulation, Tama teaches us the value of slowness, presence, and unconditional connection. From Tama, we learn to listen, not just with our ears, but with our attention. Animals communicate through behavior, consistency, and trust. When we slow down enough to notice, we become better companions, not only to animals, but also to other people. Tama also reminds us that care is a daily practice. Feeding, walking, waiting, and simply being there are acts of love. These small responsibilities build empathy and teach us to think beyond ourselves. In modern life, where loneliness is common even among crowds, animals like Tama offer quiet companionship that heals without words. They encourage us to live gently, love consistently, and respect life in all its forms. If we apply Tama's lessons, we may find that being human is less about achievement and more about kindness, patience, and shared moments. And in caring for animals, we often discover that we are also learning how to care for ourselves.